Speaking of live performances, you think there's a chance that we might see a live Krokus album in the near future?
Yeah, to bridge the gap until the next studio album, we thought let's record some live shit, and it might we might make something out of it which we can deliver to the fans while they're waiting for the next studio album. So it takes the pressure off us having to hurry up. We'd like to take our time and do the album of our lives next time.
Right. Well, and at this point in your careers, you want to be able to have that luxury of saying, hey, we don't want to rush through this, because I know back in the 80s for you and I talked about this before, that write the album, tour, write the album, tour.
Oh yeah,
for 5 minutes, write the album.
We were in the wheel like hamsters. We were doing that year in, year out, and in the end, what happens is, you're only made of flesh and bones, and your brain is getting so much action, your body is getting so much action and everything that it becomes dangerous, because you start to become numb to the sensation of what you love most, and that is music. And that's the time when you need to take a break and just watch the grass grow, and smoke some of it, and just relax, smell the roses and be with your folks again, and kind of let your body heal from the stress. Because even if you're having fun, you can still be in a stress situation without realizing it. And, so, yeah, we don't want to be in that stress situation again. It's not nice, because then you start quarreling and you get paranoid. People start bitching about over little things, Yeah. Well, I don't like red M&Ms in the dressing room. They bring bad luck, So remove all red M&Ms from our dressing room, please. But that's actually something I had heard about another band, which I'm using as a symbolic. Yeah, but they were green, really.
One of the things I wanted to ask you before I forget, you were talking a minute ago about when you guys covered American Woman, and there's sort of an interesting story there that you tell better than I do, but because a lot of people are probably scratching their heads, it's like, okay, he was talking about Canadian bands, but the song was American Woman. A lot of people don't even realize that Randy Bachman from the Guess Who and Bachman Turner Overdrive was Canadian to begin with, but then the song's called American Woman, and of course everybody always thinks it's about American women, but that's not actually the case, is it?
It's about the Statue of Liberty. The American woman. It's the first thing you saw in the old days when you came to America by ship, and what it represented, justice and liberty and all that. And Randy was having a go at it during the days when there was the Vietnam War happening, and all these young kids, being sent out there as cannon fodder. And the whole thing, I don't need your war machines, I don't need your ghetto scenes, nobody likes war. We have to defend our country, that's true, but, one hopes it doesn't have to come to a war, and when people feel that politicians do not have it under control and see no other way than war, before even talking, trying to achieve peace talks and stuff, then that's bad, waste of human life and resources, energy, and the whole thing, the whole vibe of our planet, the whole vibe around our planet would be everything would be so, I guess there would be less cancer if the whole vibe on the planet was different, was more harmonious, harmony leads to, that would be heaven. We couldn't call it Earth anymore.
Well, we all just need to sit around the big rock and roll campfire and whip out our acoustics and play some Krokus classics. So.
Yeah, and burn some marshmallows.
I wanted to touch base with you on this. Ronnie James Dio passed a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie, I was very lucky. I was blessed to have met him a couple of times when he played close to my house here in Switzerland. We met backstage and we just talked about the 80s and even before that, before the 80s when I auditioned for Rainbow right after he had left. And, so he said, well, how come he didn't get the job? I said, well, one of my idols was always Ian Gillan, Deep Purple. And Richie didn't want to have an Ian Gillan in Rainbow. He wanted to have someone more bluesy, and I was still too young to blues, to be too bluesy. I wanted to rock, and I wanted to scream, and so that's why it didn't work. And Ronnie was funny about that. He just laughed and he was also like such a calming person to be around with. Mm-hmm. So calm and a gentleman and just normal, like being with a good neighbor you've invited round for a beer. No feeling of, hey, I'm the big Ronnie James Dio superstar or anything like that. It's really nice when musicians of a big name can retain that humanity. It's very nice.
Right, he didn't have that rock star affectation, if you will.
No rock star craziness, I mean, I'm crazier than him when it comes to that. I mean, we party, but we have our limits. Especially in the 80s, we used to feel like kids in a candy store. When all the candy was free. There was a point, and I'm glad we survived it, and we're all back together again. Because there were unluckier ones along the road that fell into the trap of excess, which wasn't the case with Ronnie. Ronnie was taken away from us by the beast, by the cancer, which is something a very good friend of mine is going through right now. And, it's no joke. My mom was taken from me through cancer, and my eldest sister. So I hope Wendy and his son have supportive people around them to help them through, because one doesn't realize how much relatives and friends around a suffering person, terminally ill person, is actually suffering himself. Okay, the sick person is going through the pain, physical pain, and so on, but we who are left behind also suffer and need to hold each other and take care of each other and release this energy, this emotion, in order to find our balance again.